Alright guys, so I think we're live right now. I just wanted to give you guys an update on the XT250. I wasn't lying when I said I was working on it and stuff is going to be coming back. I apologize for the mess. This is not my garage, this is my parents' garage. But the XT has been wheeled out of the backyard at this house. It's been here for the last 3 years. Tags say January 2019 was the last time it was registered. Well, that's what it was registered through, so I must have paid it January 2018 to get that 2019 tag. But this is the kind of the state the bike is in. The motor was sitting on a workbench in the back for about 2 years. It's kind of a mess, but I pulled everything out of the rafters, off of various workbenches. It does start because I tested it, but I got a bunch of leaks. The biggest holdup as of right now is there's this little oil return line that goes to the other side of the bike. I actually stripped out the threads in there, so I have to do a thread repair on it. And then I had that side gasket was leaking because I didn't use an OEM gasket or a Yamaha brand gasket, and it was a paper gasket and it ripped. So other than that, that's pretty much the only thing holding me up. Other than that, I still am going to be running the FMF Power Core 4. It does need to get repacked though, because if you listen, yeah, it's not supposed to be a maraca. So that's all jacked up. I got 2 brand new tires. They're the Tusk Adventure tires. All my plastics are out down there. I'm still going to be running the Seat Concept seat with the Ricochet Off-Road Adventure Sports skid plate. I am going to be using thicker oil. I'm going to be using 20W50 because I live in Southern California, and that's kind of the upward, the temperatures per my factory service manual. Those are the temperatures that I'm going to be running. It's somewhere in here in periodic maintenance. If I can, let me see if I can find it really quick. Periodic maintenance, oil is, where's oil at? Hopefully I don't miss it on live. And by the way, this is live because I just wanted to give you guys something. So 20W50 is actually recommended for temperatures of 50 degrees all the way up to 110 plus. It is quickly becoming summertime here in Southern California. We had a couple of 80-degree days. What I was running before is 10W40, which goes down to 10 degrees, which it never gets down to 10 degrees here. All the way up to 110, which is kind of the upward limit. I should be running 1050 because it kind of gives you the entire range there. However, 2050 is all that my local shop had. So of course I'm running Yamalube. I have an upgraded LifePo battery. So it's a super lightweight battery that is going to be replacing the factory battery that is dead in the it's dead essentially in the bike, but we're going to be replacing it with this. It's lighter, it's smaller in every single way, so this is going to go into the bike. I am going to go back to a factory oil filter and a factory air filter. So I kind of used to be of the mindset when I was a younger man to run the K&N air filters, but let me show you. This has so much more surface area than the old K&N. So I pulled my K&N. Look at the difference between these in terms of size and the filter element of all the stuff that can actually be filtered out. These are easily replaceable. These are special order. So I'm excited to go back to a paper filter. Let me think, what else is going on here? I'm going to be adding a cell phone USB charger made by Battery Tender, so that way I can just hook up my brand new battery tender to the little quick jumper that's going to go to that battery, and then this is going to be connected to the jumper leads kind of deal, so that way I don't have to run a 12 volt. Well, I can still run this 12 volt. I don't know if it works anymore, but That way I have a way to charge USB specific things instead of running a 12 volt to a cigarette lighter adapter. And yeah, that way it's a little bit different. Overall, the bike is still pretty good in terms of good shape. The plastics are still blue except for this handguard, which was actually not covered up. The rest of the bike was. A little bit of moisture ended up getting down into the air box there, but I dumped that all out. That's what that is. And then let me think, what other stuff is going on? My hard panniers are still going to be going back on the rig. Yep, it is. They're sitting up there. Let me think, what else is going to happen? I already said new tires. Oh, new sprocket. I'm going to go with a JT. I think it's a 4060. 48 tooth, and then I am currently waiting on a new 15 tooth front sprocket, so that's going to be the factory size. I'm just going to order a new one, and then I'm going to also be running a new chain, which is made by, who makes that chain? I have it somewhere. Pardon the mess. This is the third time I've had to work on that motor in the last couple days. So those parts, can't remember what brand chain it is. Primary drive chain. That's what I'm going to be running for the chain. So new sprocket set is going to be great. Hopefully this gives me a little bit more top speed. I think that's how it works, right? More top speed or more torque. If you go bigger in the back, that gives you more torque. Yeah, more torque. So I might have went the wrong direction with that. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But anyways, I have a new sprocket, new chain, new front sprocket. So they're all going to get replaced at the same time. New tires, so that handles the bottom contact stuff. I'm going to stick with the brakes. I have to do a brake bleed on them. Let me think. The Cyclops Adventure Sports headlight still works in there. So, fan-freaking-tastic. I think that's pretty much it. Let me think. What else? When you, if you decide to do any engine work on your motorcycle, your Yamaha, make sure you use Yamaha brand gaskets. So, I'm not saying other gaskets aren't as good, but just use genuine parts, because I used a set of gaskets by Moose Racing. My brother got them for me for Christmas a couple of years ago, and they were thin, really thin paper gaskets, and I ripped one installing some of the bolts on there, which was unfortunate because then it started leaking, and then I started doubting myself. So here's the Moose Racing gasket that actually ripped. It's super thin, and the spot where it ripped was on the bottom side, on this one right here, on this. Let me see. Yeah, ripped right there, but that was enough for it to start leaking. So that sucked. So for those of you who are just joining, this is the main problem that's actually stopping me from completing this thing and riding it down the highway. I actually stripped out this oil thread banjo bolt. So for those of you who don't know what a banjo bolt is, I will give you a look-see. Pardon the mess. This is what a banjo bolt is. I put some Teflon thread locker on there. Essentially, it's a bolt that's hollow. So you have, let me see if I can get some better light here. You have a hole on one side that allows fluid to pass through it. So for the XT, oil goes from this side of the bike through this banjo fitting, and it goes around the cylinder to this banjo bolt, which is the one that's damaged. So I thankfully got it apart together, and I immediately saw that it was leaking when I started running the bike, so I turned it off, and yeah, so no damage was done, which is great. The only thing is I tried to use, I just when you're doing anything with aluminum, use a torque wrench, because it is so easy to over torque something like this. And this cylinder right here, not the cylinder head where your valves go, the cylinder, this finned piece of aluminum, is $400 if you want to buy a new one. So, and then I'd have to drop the motor again, pull that thing off. What I'm going to try to do is use a helicoil. It's essentially a thread repair, to go ahead and fix that. And then let me think, what else? Oh, okay. I'm no longer going to be running a Rotopax on there. I'm going to be using one of these, oh shit, MSR fuel bottles from REI. That's what I use my REI dividend on. They're 30 bucks for 30 fluid ounces. And then I upgraded my camp stove to the MSR, gosh, my hands, sorry. The MSR Whisper Light. So essentially it uses that same bottle. You can use gasoline, you can use white gas, you can use anything, any liquid fuel. So that's going to work great versus using a jet boil. The jet boil uses those canisters, which become a real pain in the butt because you have to deal with them, and sometimes they're not full and you don't know which ones are full. With the MSR bottle, you know if it's full, and you can also fill up your gas tank with it. Some tips when taking apart your motor: use cardboard, and when you're pulling the bolts out. So this is, for example, the clutch side of the bike where that has the clutch pack. Let me see if I can get close enough. All the bolts from there just transferred into a piece of cardboard. That way you don't lose it. And that's one of the key things that kept me from losing a bunch of stuff when I had my bike taken apart, was these cardboard templates. And I have one for this side of the bike too. But I think that pretty much rounds it out. I'm still on the factory foot pegs. I'm gonna get the DROs, whatever they are. They're like this wide. But yeah, I think that pretty much rounds it out in terms of what's going on with the XT. As you can see, it's in parts, but it runs. I tried it. There's going to be a new air filter. I already adjusted the valves. Oh, that's another thing. When you go to adjust the valves, pick up this tool. Where did I put that thing? Here. Pick up this tool right here. It's made by Motion Pro. It's the Tap It Adjuster tool. It's 10 millimeters. That's what allows you to undo the lock nut. And then if you pull this top part off, that square hole is what actually adjusts the your valve when you loosen that lock nut. So it is a super amazing tool. I think it's 30 bucks. Here's the part number in the box. The Tap It Adjustment tool. This one is 080731. 3 millimeter square with a 10 millimeter socket. So worth your time and your money. I did my valves while this thing was apart. Super easy. It's, I believe, 0.05 for the intake and 0.1 for the exhaust. My exhaust was out of spec, so I went ahead and loosened that up and got it into spec. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, I didn't do a video on that. I should have, because it goes into my general maintenance, kind of series of videos that I did. But I'll do it in another like 4,000 or 5,000 miles. Yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, peace out. It's been a long time since I've did that. Yeah, let's get a little bit further back. No, don't mind the desk lamp as my work lamp either, so.